and welcome back to our lecture discussion in HEMA 2 lecture. We are still on vascular abnormalities and platelet disorders. So let's focus first on the vascular disorders. So the following will be our learning objectives. We aim to achieve that at the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify the different pathologic conditions related to the three phases of hemostasis, and then identify the different laboratory parameters that can be used to diagnose these disorders. So our attention here will be on the diseases and conditions associated with vascular system. Let's start with the inherited vascular disorders. These disorders are very rare, and while bleeding is a common symptom, hemostasis tests are not usually necessary for diagnosis. Clinicians would rely on the patient's signs and symptoms and their history. The first is the hemorrhagic telangiectasia, or the HHT, hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia. So this involves bleeding from abnormally dilated vessels, thus the name telangiectasia. These vessel walls are very thin and fragile, and these usually cause the mucous membrane to bleed because they do not contract normally, so they collapse easily. The patient may manifest pinpoint lesions because of the tiny areas of bleeding, and from this site, the clots or hemolyzed red cells and vessel obstruction may form. This disease or disorder may be present or may develop at all ages, but they are usually present at birth. The treatment is by surgical removal if possible, yung mga sites ng tumor site, or localized radiotherapy with injection of fibrinolytic inhibitors. The next is the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. This is an abnormality or an inherited vascular defect with abnormal collagen production. This results to a defective basement membrane structure. Therefore, it causes hyperplastic skin and joint abnormalities. This picture shows the unusually elastic skin of a patient with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. This condition also causes the skin to be easily bruised. They heal poorly, and they form cigarette paper scars and joints that are unusually flexible, as in hyperflexible and hypermobile. Yung elasticity niya, if you can see here, the skin can be stretched much further than normal skin. So that's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Next, we have the acquired, still under acquired vascular defects, this time disorders of the connective tissue. The scurvy is associated with bleeding, including persistent gingival bleeding and hemorrhage into the subcutaneous tissues and muscles. This is primarily due to vitamin C deficiency. So vitamin C is needed to proper collagen synthesis and vessel integrity. So that's the scurvy. Then we have the age-induced abnormalities. We call it the senile purpura. So this is a chronic disorder in elderly characterized by red to purple ecchymotic spots, either formed on the forearm and back of hands and neck due to marked atrophy of the collagen. And then we also have the steroid purpura. This is drug-induced that is seen in persons treated with prolonged periods of time with high dosage of steroids. So this is somewhat similar with Cushing's disease. Other abnormalities that usually affects the vascular wall include petechiae. So these are superficial pinpoint hemorrhages which represent blood which has leaked out from the intact capillaries because they have increased vascular permeability or failure of the platelet function. And then the other description that we usually use to indicate abnormalities in the vascular wall, the purpura, these includes or manifest hemorrhages under the skin varying in color and duration. So description is actually similar with that of the petechiae, but there is confluent patches of it. Parang mas malaki kaysa do sa petechiae. Parang pinag-ipon-ipon yung mga petechiae. And then we have ecchymoses. These are commonly known as bruises, and they represent larger amounts of extravasated blood under the skin. So they appear purplish patch. This is, as mentioned, no, caused by extravasation of this blood into the skin. So these are larger than petechiae. Then we have hematoma. This is a large ecchymosis that involves subcutaneous tissue or muscle, producing localized swelling and deformity. And then the hemarthrosis, this is bleeding into a joint, causing pain, swelling, and limited range of motion. It can occur due to injury or bleeding disorders like in cases of hemophilia. Other terms that are usually associated with abnormalities in the vascular wall would include epistaxis, no, yung sa nose bleeding, menorrhagia, which we will also hearing later along with our discussion. This is excessive bleeding during the menstrual period, especially for ladies. No? And then hemoptysis is the spitting of blood. So these are just terms. No? Melena, of course, you know, the blood in the stool, like the occult blood. Okay, so that is to detect the unseen or hidden blood. So that indicates usually melena. Okay, ano pa ba? The hematemesis is vomiting of blood. Okay? Hematuria, of course, the blood in urine, and so on. This slide shows us the differences between the petechiae, the purpura, and the ecchymosis. So petechiae are small pinpoint spots that are usually less than 3 millimeters in diameter, while purpura are larger than petechiae and are between 3 and 10 millimeters in diameter. And ecchymosis is a large flat area of bleeding under the skin, so usually measuring more than 10 millimeters in diameter, and is the medical term for a bruise, no? Ecchymosis. Bugbog, kumbaga. Additional pictures to show us the difference of the petechiae, ecchymosis. So, hematoma, I'm sure you're familiar with this, no? Baka na-experience nyo na magka-hematoma. And then, hematrosis, internal bleeding in the joint. Mostly, laboratory tests are no longer necessary for the vascular defects or particularly for the hereditary vascular disorders. However, if these are done, we can expect the following findings, and these are the common lab tests that we perform. The capillary fragility test, which usually yields positive, okay, because they usually involve the vascular system, the capillaries. Bleeding time, it depends on what specific type of vascular disorder the patient may be suffering from. It can be normal or prolonged, while platelet count and coagulation time are usually normal. We can take a break for a while. Our next topic would be about diseases and conditions associated with thrombocytes.